Skip Bayless needs to be banned from talking about the NBA. Skip Bayless has been reporting about sports on a major platform since the 1980s. Skip has made it big with ESPN, and now with Fox Sports 1. He's done this by giving out stupid opinions, faking sources, and starting Twitter wars with athletes, just to get them on the show and create a headline for the ratings. Bayless wasn't even liked by his own ESPN colleagues, and it's known that he doesn't accept the fact that other people have different opinions. Keep watching to see why Skip Bayless needs to be banned from talking about the NBA. The dumb things Skip has said. Skip Bayless joined ESPN in 1989. From there, he progressed up the ranks with ESPN. Skip now has his own show with Shannon Sharpe. Before his show, Skip has made some remarkable comments and has given some outrageous opinions. There's times where Skip will talk about his high school basketball days. He's often reminded people that he's the Russell Westbrook of reporting. The fact of the matter is, he's no Russell Westbrook. He's an entertainer, but not at Westbrook triple-double level. Of course, you need to take whatever Skip says with a grain of salt. At the end of the day, Skip and all other reporters drive the audience by giving these outrageous opinions. It's their job. Skip has made arguments surrounding LeBron James, where he says James shrinks in big situations. He said prime Dwight Howard wasn't as good as his numbers too. Here are many other arguments he's made. Carmelo Anthony is better than LeBron James. What's weird about this statement is that Skip loves winners. Skip talks about his love for Tim Tebow because he's a winner. When you go to compare LeBron James to Carmelo Anthony, LeBron would win in every statistical and award comparison. Carmelo won a national title at Syracuse, but LeBron went straight to the league from high school. We're talking about the NBA here. In 2012, Skip said that he sees Carmelo Anthony as a better player than LeBron James, and didn't even put LeBron in his top 5 players. At the time, LeBron was already a 2-time MVP winning basketball player who went to the NBA Finals twice. Carmelo had only made it out of the first round of the playoffs 1 time. He doesn't like Derrick Rose running the Bulls' offense. Remember how good Derrick Rose was with the Chicago Bulls? Skip didn't like him then. On his show, Skip said, "I love Derrick Rose off the floor, but I don't love Derrick Rose on the floor." He complained about Rose shooting too much and believed Rose wasn't a real facilitator. Rose at the time was the reigning most valuable player. Skip tried arguing that Rose shouldn't be playing his original position for a team that was on its way to the best record in the NBA. Kyrie Irving will be a better player than Derrick Rose. This is an interesting one. At the time, Skip seemed completely wrong. Rose in his prime is still probably better than Kyrie Irving, to be fair. Rose won an MVP, while Kyrie has created chaos with every team he's played for. Kyrie does have a championship under his belt, while Rose doesn't. That's one argument for Kyrie over Rose. Skip spoke about Kyrie as a rookie, and guaranteed that he'd be better than the reigning MVP. Skip tweeted a few months back about Kyrie Irving and his likelihood of developing into a player who is more productive and valuable to his team than Derrick Rose. Skip wasn't completely wrong in this take. Kyrie will more than likely have a more fulfilled career, but we'd all take Rose in his prime over Kyrie. The Magic, circa at least 2011, are better with Marcin Gortat on offense. In a 2009 debate that happened in the playoffs, Skip went on to say that the Magic were better off on the offensive end of the floor with Marcin Gortat instead of Dwight Howard. Skip never liked Dwight Howard, but that just doesn't sound right. 2009 was Gortat's first full season in the league, and Skip had no numbers or really anything to back up his statement. The funny thing about this clip was that Skip forgot Gortat's name in the argument, and he'd rather have him on offense over Dwight Howard. Blake Griffin didn't jump that high. Remember that dunk from Blake Griffin on Kendrick Perkins? It was the dunk heard around the world for a while. Blake Griffin got up on that dunk. Skip went out of his way to say that Griffin didn't even jump that high. Maybe Skip knew Kendrick was going to work for ESPN later down the line, and didn't want to embarrass a future colleague. But to discredit Blake's dunk by saying he didn't get up high enough is embarrassing. LeBron James isn't a top 5 player in the NBA. We already talked about Skip hating on LeBron. This might be one of the worst takes in NBA television history. While Skip and Stephen A. Smith reveal who the best 5 players in the NBA are, Skip leaves out LeBron. James has done everything that has been expected from him throughout his career in the NBA. Year in and year out, he exceeds expectations, yet he'll always have people hating on him. James might not even win the most valuable player this year. He deserves it every year, and anywhere James goes, he instantly makes the team a title contender. That's an MVP if you ask me. Michael Jordan won titles by himself. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the NBA is a team game, unless you're Skip. During a show in 2012, Skip claimed that Michael Jordan didn't have help winning any championships. Skip must have forgot that Jordan played with Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Tony Kukoc, Charles Oakley, John Paxson, Horace Grant, and a mastermind like Phil Jackson. Carmelo Game 2 against Boston was better than LeBron's Game 5 against Detroit. In 2011, Carmelo Anthony had an impressive Game 2 with the Knicks against the Boston Celtics in the first round of the playoffs. He went off for 42 points, 17 rebounds, and 7 assists, and the Knicks still lost. It was a great game, but brutal outcome for Melo. Remember LeBron James' historic Game 5 against the Detroit Pistons back in 2007, when LeBron James scored 29 of the Cavaliers' last 30 points to win the game for Cleveland? Again, I've always thought Skip liked winners. He chose Carmelo's stats in a loss and said Melo's game was better than the greatest individual performance in the history of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Skip cited the fact that Carmelo scored his points in regulation, and that LeBron had a chance to win the game in regulation but missed the free throws that would have won the game. No thanks, Skip. Michael Jordan could beat LeBron James one-on-one. Today. This Jordan and James debate will live on forever. Since the passing of Kobe, many will finally just appreciate greatness and stop worrying about the greatest of all time. Each era, players get stronger and develop more. Each era, players from the new generation will be much better than the old generation. That's just how it works as new technology and science is developed. Skip went as far to say that a 49-year-old Michael Jordan could beat one of the top athletes in the world in his prime is just plain crazy talk. Many might have different opinions with both players in their prime, and that's fair, but an almost 50-year-old couldn't beat LeBron James in anything but nap time. The drama. Skip Bayless loves the drama. He loves to have players on his shows, and he doesn't refrain from any type of question. The drama helps his ratings, and you can't blame him. Skip Bayless, who was working for Fox Sports with his own show, took his anger out on Toronto Raptors star Kawhi Leonard. Shortly after the Raptors eliminated the Milwaukee Bucks in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals on Saturday night on May 26, 2019, Bayless sent this tweet regarding Leonard. Well, I guess it worked for number 2 to quit on the Spurs last season, complaining what Spurs doctors decided was no more than a thigh bruise. He wound up in the East, playing against a hobbled, sick Embiid and an overrated Giannis. Crime pays. Skip Bayless, @RealSkipBayless, May 26, 2019. Bayless is a known fan of the San Antonio Spurs, and clearly wasn't happy that Leonard was traded last summer. Bayless's tweet caught the attention of Portland Trailblazers guard CJ McCollum, and he responded, "Give it a rest, Skip. Get some sleep, man. Claw is a monster. Get that hate out your heart, CJ McCollum." Skip responded to McCollum, and tried to use him as a promo for his show. On tomorrow morning's Undisputed, I will tell you exactly how I feel about CJ McCollum's Saturday night tweet about me, and how I feel about number 2 making it all the way to the NBA Finals. Join us tomorrow, Memorial Day, at 9:30 Eastern on FS1. McCollum saw the tweet and made sure to point out that Bayless spelled his name wrong. McCollum, McCollum. Make sure you spell my name right from here on out. Thanks in advance. Bayless was already annoying as he continued to refer to Leonard as number 2. Skip Heartless. Skip made the move to Fox for a short time. When Skip had made the move to Fox Sports, it seemed like plenty of his colleagues in Bristol, Connecticut weren't upset he was leaving. Most ESPN employees wouldn't call out Bayless for some of his buffoonish opinions on First Take. When he left, everyone's favorite host Scott Van Pelt had an obvious knock at Bayless after the Cavaliers won Game 7 of the NBA Finals. It was reported that ESPN on ESPN crime involving Bayless in the past was prohibited. Via Sports Business Daily, Ryan Russillo and Danny Kanell addressed the issue of criticizing Bayless during their ESPN radio show on Monday. Russillo said, "If Dan Le Batard were to come on and say, 'I can't believe Russillo said this,' or 'Mike and Mike can't believe Russillo said this,' I'd be okay with it. I may disagree with them, but I would be okay with it. The problem is when you disagree with Skip, you're not allowed to, and then he gets mad at you about it. So nobody wants to deal with it. That's why when the LeBron stuff comes up, if you're going to be so clearly doctoring the results to keep pushing you don't like LeBron or you don't think he's any good, then go ahead and keep doing it because it's clearly great for business. But you can't get mad at other people for being like, well, that's just insane, and I don't even know if you believe it. Isn't there a time too when you just have to go, I was wrong? Isn't there a time?" Kanell said. "But it's not good for business," Russillo said. "Business is good, so I respect that part of it. But we're all big boys. We all say stuff, and all of us, because we're opinion guys, disagree with each other all the time. But when you disagree with Skip, it gets handled a different way, and a lot of us are just like, whatever. So that's why we never bring it up. Well, we don't have to worry about it anymore," Kanell added. Remember when Skip talked about Aikman being potentially gay? Aikman is still unhappy with Bayless. "I'm upset because it was made up, and there was nothing accurate about anything that was insinuated. And he did it as he does everything just for attention," Aikman told Richard Deitsch of SI.com in January 2015. Bayless got special consideration while at ESPN and said ridiculous things, and it looks like he's getting the same at Fox Sports. There was an update on this story. An ESPN spokesperson forwarded to PFT a quote from Russillo. "What I referenced yesterday was something personal between me and Skip," Russillo said. "It had nothing to do with ESPN policy. It's a fair point, but there's a huge difference between policy and practice. If in practice, criticism of Skip Bayless triggered internal complaints from Bayless that were supported directly or indirectly by management, ESPN policy is irrelevant." Maybe special treatment wasn't as large as the story made it seem, but we can see that Bayless and his ESPN colleagues never got along. His opinions were garbage, and he never had anything nice to say. It also seems like he was making up plenty of his stories to create an audience for his show. Skip likely leads the sports journalism industry in tweetbacks. He's a keyboard warrior. The only difference is that he shows his face. He'll never back down from stupidity, and that's why people will end up tuning into his show. Bayless has the sources. He's been in the industry for a long time, and has plenty of relationships and friendships. Yet at times, he still can't get his story straight. To top it all off, Bayless has a problem with LeBron James. James has done everything in his power to help people on and off the court, and has led by example for most of his career. Hating on premier athletes like LeBron James won't help anyone's reputation on TV shows or any other broadcast journalism platform. Bayless gets paid to irk the sports world and put it in a frenzy. He does a great job at it, but at the end of the day, nobody respects a single word that comes out of his mouth anymore. The war against other athletes isn't worth it anymore. Skip Bayless isn't liked by NBA fans or its players. He can discredit the top players in the league all he wants, but at the end of the day, his reputation will just dip. Skip should stick to a different sport, or maybe no sports. For now, ban him from the NBA.